life I was living. "All right, boys, I think we can call it a night," I announced as I got to my feet and dusted the sand from my knees. "Great work today, everyone. If you're thirsty, which I know most of you lushes are, meet me at Sloppy Joe's. Drinks are on me." The models and staff cheered, and I grinned. "Consider this motherfucking shoot finished," I exclaimed to a chorus of resounding hoots and hears as I headed toward the tent and hooked my camera up to my laptop. Hundreds of photos loaded onto the screen, and their tiny thumbnails begged to be clicked. Doing as their teeny beckoning bid, I clicked to select all and opened them up in my editor. I could hardly contain my excitement as I caught sight of some of the raw shots I had managed to capture. It had been a long day, toiling from sunup until sundown, but after I worked my editing magic, I knew Frederick would get a big old-fashioned boner over the plethora of sexy photos he'd have to pick from. I grabbed a bottle of water from the makeshift snack table and, upon my return, found my assistant Olivia scrolling through the photos on my laptop. She glanced up from the screen and grinned. "These are fantastic, Cass." "Thanks. I think Frederick is going to be really happy with them. He loves a good bare-skinned man huddle, but who doesn't?" Olivia smirked and continued clicking from one photo to the next. She had been my assistant for a few years now, and I'd grown fond of our working relationship. Not only was she a good friend, but I'd felt compelled to take her under my wing and teach her everything I knew about photography. She had the raw interest, and with my help on the technicalities and work ethic, I hoped that one day I'd eventually help her make the big jump from assistant to photographer. Joshua, one of my favorite makeup artists and a pathological flirt, peeked over Olivia's shoulder and then nudged her out of the way with his hip. It didn't take his nosy ass long to start scrolling through my personal collection. "Wait, what is this? I don't remember this shoot." An entire album of Klein, Thatch, and Wes's rugby team filled the screen and glinted like horny glitter off the apex of Joshua's eye. I smiled at the memory of taking those photos a few weeks before Klein and Georgia's wedding. We had stopped by the boys' practice before grabbing dinner, and needless to say, hot men playing rugby made me thankful I'd had my camera with me that day. Joshua pointed to a picture of Thatcher. The jolly green giant's tall frame was unmistakable. Perfectly defined lines and toned muscles, taking up so much space in the shot they almost jumped right off the screen. And the only thing covering that fuck-hot body was a pair of black knit shorts. Hair wet with sweat, he was just standing there, hands on his hips, grinning like a cocky son of a bitch. "Seriously," Joshua insisted, "what is that?" "That's a thatch." "A thatch? Is that one of those new cool words like fleek or ratchet?" I shook my head and laughed. "Thatch is his name, Thatcher Kelly," I explained before muttering under my breath. "Or an action? God, yeah." I stared at his photo. "I'd thatch that for sure." He sighed. "Is he single?" The question felt strange for a fraction of a second, and then the fleeting uncertainty was gone. I grinned. "Oh yes, he's very single. I mean, he was single, so technically I wasn't lying. I was just leaving out the little detail of him not being into cock." Joshua stared at the photo for a disturbing amount of time before asking, "Can I have his number?" I didn't think twice about it. This was Thatch we were talking about, and I would gladly take any opportunity to fuck with him. "Give me your phone." He handed it over, and I happily added Thatch Squatch's number to his contacts. I chose not to think about why I had it memorized. "Damn, I need this man in my life," Joshua said, staring down at the picture on my computer screen before glancing at the number in his phone. I tilted my head to the side. "I thought you were dating someone." Joshua grimaced. "I was, but apparently I'm too clingy." "Well, fuck that guy. He sounds like an asshole."